Oh, you're here. Well, that's delightful. Thanks for coming to my little small writing desk and office here. Where is here? Well, here is actually in the frontier, but the year's 2020. We are at the evening of July 3rd, which is a significant time period in our history. I'm staying with some friends on the near the forks of the Ohio, and they've provided me this nice little area that I can take care of my business and be comfortable. So, what is today? Today is the eve of July 4th, 1776, this significant date in our history, and our 244th birthday of our nation. And I was just looking over this significant document that I'm sure you all recognize, and I thought I'd say a few words about it. Now, first of all, I should introduce myself. For those of you who don't know, my name is Benjamin Franklin. I've been designating a founding father, which is a nice term. I've been called a lot worse in my life, between a scoundrel and a traitor and everything else they could think of to pin on me. But then I've been given a lot of accolades over my life through my works and efforts through my printing business, newspaper publishing, my scientific experiments. As a matter of fact, I've accomplished quite a bit with only 2 years of formal education at a very young age, of about 10 to 12 years old, between the Boston Latin School and so my schooling was limited, but my learning was a lifetime. Now, I should say that I actually got a couple of honorary degrees and doctorates from Harvard and Yale. I actually got one from the University of St. Andrews in Scotland. So, while we move forward here, I think if you ever see me on the street or sidewalk walking at any city or event, you should approach me and refer to me as Ben. Matter of fact, what would be more appropriate if I heard a yell from one of you out in the street, "Hey, Ben," I would certainly reply and engage you in any conversation you'd ever want to have. Now, getting back to this document, this is the foundation of our independence. There was the document was published on, well, it was read aloud in the Second Continental Congress in the Pennsylvania State Assembly House on July 4th, 1776. A couple of evenings before, on July 2nd, 1776, the Lee Resolution was approved. That was actually put forth so that we, as 13 colonies, agreed to unite and disband from the relationship we have with the British Empire. So that was significant. We've been working on the Declaration. During that time, even prior to, there was a committee approved, which I was a member of, to put forth the verbiage, the wording, and concisely lay out our grievances against King George III. Now, John Adams was on the committee. It was suggested that he write the document. Some suggested that I write the document, although I deferred to Thomas Jefferson because I felt he was a better wordsmith, a thoughtful thinker, and would really do a better job. I didn't trust that I could keep the levity out of my criticisms of King George, so we decided that Jefferson was the right person for the job. Now, we includes Roger Sherman from Connecticut and Robert Livingston from New York. There were 5 of us. Jefferson did write the document in the boarding house not far from here or not far in Philadelphia, from the Assembly House, and presented it to us. We made some corrections. There's interesting lines in there that were changed, and we could do a whole talk about that in of itself. But just for tonight, I'm just reflecting on this document, which would have been presented on the 4th tomorrow, 244 years ago. The Declaration was the draft that we brought to the Assembly House on the 4th. It was approved before all the 13 colonies and their representatives, and thus it was sent off to the printer. Now, the interesting story, some of the famous copies of that said printer was John Dunlap. He was a Philadelphia printer. He was a native of Ireland, immigrated here. He was only 29 years old. He had already begun setting the type since he saw previous versions of the document. So the few changes that were made were not a problem, but that night he continued, and in the morning, July 5th, there were 200 copies, maybe a few more, we're not sure, that were made by Mr. Dunlap, and they were distributed. The Declaration was read aloud, and the war had already started. We're past Lexington and Concord. The British Army is already on the battlefield, and General Washington is already convened to create an army, and thus it starts. So I think in this 2020, which somehow miraculously I've gotten here, that would put me at 314 years of age, and I don't look too bad, but I'm here now, and that's why I'd like to tell stories and do other presentations to talk about what we went through in colonial times. So I don't want to keep you all evening, but I would ask tonight, did you reflect on the 56 signers of that document, the Declaration of Independence, what they sacrificed, the 27 grievances they put forth against King George III, and those signatures on this document represent their stepping forward at great peril, including myself, and that if this fails, we shall probably hang. Now, there was the famous line is, we better hang together to get through this, or we'll certainly hang separately. Fortunately, we know the result of that, and what I am amazed at this fascinating collection of 50 states and what we've accomplished since then. So I would say to you, as we go forth tonight and throughout the weekend, and I'm told and I see there's actually a pandemic going on and a very deadly virus. So my thoughts on that go to my own experiences with smallpox, the loss of my second son to this dreadful disease. Very sadly, my poor little Frankie died at 4 years old. I was not able to inoculate him in time. That could be a whole nother topic about inoculation. I founded a hospital in Philadelphia and was keenly aware of disease, medicine, treatment. So I'm going to leave you right now, and I'm glad I met, and we will meet again. I am going to get my walking stick, which is actually here. I have a whole story about this, the Liberty Stick it's been called. And I'm going to grab my cap, meet some friends, very few friends. We are going to sit under a tree this evening, talk about this, reminisce of these events, And we will talk about politics, we will talk about literature, we will talk about science, we will talk about any subject that comes to mind. But what I want to do first is two things. Before I go forth this evening, I'm going to grab this little thing that I was given. This is a mask. We wore these in the 18th century, and we wore masks during the pandemic, so even in medieval times. So I would encourage you, when you go out this weekend, to wear your mask, be conscientious of distance from others, and still enjoy the weekend. My last hope before I leave, and I end all my talks with this, is do us a justice and thank us by going to vote. I'm told there's an election coming this fall, so you as citizens, I am counting on you to go out and vote. Thank you for the time this evening, and I'll see you again.